Sanbonani, I hope you are doing well and yeah, I hope you are doing well. This is for my immigrants, my foreign nationals based in South Africa. I'm sure you saw the Department of Education leadership making announcements and saying that the foreign students now should have a study permit or when you are applying, parents should present their work permit or asylum or PR. In other words, they now need you to be documented or your child to be documented, and they will need your proof of home address, latest grade 7 reports for those who are going to secondary school, those who are going to grade R or grade 1, they will need your clinic immunization card. So this is for public schools in South Africa. And also we see Operation Dudula, a South African activist group, announced that as of January 2026, they will be launching a campaign to block foreign students from attending public schools. If you are documented, they say you're still gonna be at the back of the queue in terms of getting being placed at a public school in South Africa. So things are tightening up. It's not just the activist group, also the Department of Education is also prioritizing all of that. I know that they there's there are people who are highlighting the section 29 1A, section 9 of the Constitution that ensure all children in South Africa, regardless of documentation status or nationality, the right to basic education and prohibit discrimination in access to this right. But maybe we have actually moved past that, and we cannot be being at the mercy of a country and still demand our constitutional rights. Yeah, we have to really be at the sympathy of the country that is housing us. I'm talking about foreign nationals here. So yeah, now moving forward, if you are planning to stay in South Africa or your children to stay in South Africa, just make sure that you are documented and your children are also documented. For those who cannot get documented for whatever reason, maybe the alternative here is to send your children back to your country to study in your country. And for Zimbabweans here, maybe that would be the cheapest alternative for you. Private schools in South Africa are quite expensive for those people who cannot afford. It's quite expensive. I think on average that's around 1,200 rands to 1.5. Some schools are charging 2,000 rand, which is per month. So times 12 months, that's a lot of money for some people who are really struggling to make ends meet in South Africa. So the best alternative is to send your kid back to Zim. In deep rural areas in Zimbabwe, you are paying that's around $20 per term. $40 up to 60. I think in deep rural areas it's not more than $80 per term, and we've got 3 terms per year. And also those in towns, that's around 80 to 120. Some schools, depending on the area. And if you want to send your kid to private schools on average in Mashunga, I think that's 100 to $200 per per term. And yeah, you can start there. Per term, we've got 3 terms per year, and that's for primary schools. I'm not too sure about other areas. Hey, so you need to do your research. You need to ask people, engage people back home. You can also Google all these schools and see their school fees, or also check on Facebook. They've got social media pages. You can search and ask how much that will cost you. Those in deep rural areas, this is the time to engage your family members or anybody and pay them, maybe buy food if they are to stay with your child. If you don't have your own home, they can stay with your child, sent to relatives. This might not be ideal, how some people can be. They might not be able to take care of your child the way you would want. But there's always that nice relative that you can. There are also other alternatives, which is to hire somebody to stay at your home and look after your child. You pay them or you buy them food. There are some people who don't have a place to stay, who just need a home to stay, and they can, grow their own food. You buy them groceries. It's not as expensive as it would be to send your child in South Africa at the same time paying rentals and things like that. So you need to look into that and start planning. You've got 3 months to December, January to plan and see what you can do and send your kids back home for their studies. It's a tough situation, and don't let human rights lawyers and all these groups lie to you. Things have changed, and you have felt it. Most people are feeling it. It's not just Dudula, it's not just March on March. The departments are changing, things are shifting. So you need to have long-term plans, short to long-term plans, to go back home or to send your kids home, whatever it is. I'm not speaking from a point of trying to overlook the challenges that you are already facing. I'm just speaking on reality here. Just to think along those lines if you want your kids to be educated. This discrimination is just not nice. Imagine your child going to school and they're going to be told you cannot study here because you're a foreign national. That can impact their life, or, they can grow up with that trauma. It does a lot to be discriminated, just to feel like, I was denied certain things because I'm Zimbabwean. A child will not understand what the civil society groups in South Africa or the departments are trying to do. They will not understand that. So think about your children before you go on and say we're gonna fight head on. Civil society groups, your human rights lawyers, and all that, and some people who are voicing concerns on social media and calling on these parliaments to reconsider and things like that. Some of them are speaking from a point of privilege and having. They are not directly impacted or affected the way your children are going to be affected in these departments. So think along those lines and either document yourself and your children or start pushing to get a private school or send your kids back to Zim or to your country where to other people who don't come from Zimbabwe. So that's the update that we have. I think we have all seen that. So start thinking along those lines. And it is also time for our foreign nationals who might not be, who cannot afford. Also, go to your churches. You've been putting up a lot of tithe and offerings. The church must come in. They must step in to assist you, to those who are moving back home, school fees and things like that. That's actually what they are for. They need to be coming in and assisting. This is where we need all those groups to come in and help those who wants to send their kids back, but they cannot afford it. The I used to, run some sort of a campaign with my networks where would come together to pay school fees for kids who are based in Zim. That was around 2018, 2019. So what we'll do is to have adopt a kid campaign, but those are for people who are already based in Zim. So someone who would just sacrifice a year, pay school fees. By then we're paying around $20 to $40 per student per term. So someone who would just adopt a kid for a term or a year. And I just hope we'll be able to do that in the near future. But that's really for people who are based in Zim, because there are people who are really struggling, going through more than, more than what some people who are based in South Africa are actually going through. They don't have any income. They don't have anything. These are orphans, child-headed homes. So the challenge is like huge. It's so much. So think about ways you can raise your own money, and I believe that it's actually cheaper to raise a kid in Zim compared to what is happening in South Africa right now. So let's keep on sharing ideas. If you've got any idea that works, let's come in. I'm not here to share ideas on how we can fight the government of South Africa or all these groups. I'm not for that. I'm not there. It won't work for me because we have moved beyond that. We'll leave that to politicians and other groups that really are focusing on that. I'm here to say if you've got any idea that can assist the people who wants to go back home, students who wants to go back home, let us come together, let us talk. That's the only way we can really help people. And also, you need to be prepared because some students who are based in South Africa cannot speak our home languages. Yes, those who've been in South Africa, some have learned Zulu. So if you are going to Matabeleland, you might be sorted. You can blend in with the Ndebele speaking students. But my Shona people, if your child can't speak Shona, and or they can speak Shona, but they were not doing Shona in South Africa. Now they have to go and learn the learn how to write Shona. You might wanna start preparing them. Why am I saying this? Because some teachers and some students can be really nasty back home. They will really discriminate them. It's little comments like, "Oh, now you are back," or they are struggling, or things went back in South Africa. They thought they are too good. Now you are back home, so you need to prepare your kids. And if your kid can only speak English, you might want to sacrifice and send your kid to a school that also use English just for communication. That's mainly in town. Otherwise, that's going to really push them back and kill their confidence. And another thing that I want to mention before I leave is that some schools might ask your kid to repeat a grade because the syllabus are not the same. Well, you might go for that, or you can negotiate and say, I don't want my child to repeat, but I can pay for extra classes in Mashingo. That's $1 per day per subject. So mainly you might want to just pay for two subjects like English and Shona, or English and math. Then they can have extra lessons. That's what 5 days per week. That should be around $48 per two subjects. I think, yeah. I think if my math are correct, that should be that. I don't know about other towns. I'm just giving you examples in Mashingo because well, that's what I have experience in. So look out for your town and check how much they are charging. There are so many teachers out there that are assisting with extra classes, so you can negotiate and see how much you can pay per subject, per per day or per term, and they can be good within a couple of months. Then you don't have to pay anymore, so that you can save up on a lot of money. So thank you so much for watching. Let us engage and keep on having this conversation. Have a great day.